I'm Renee Marie Smith with FifTV, a trending 50 web series about the 50 entrepreneurial women in America. Today we're in Washington, D.C. with the COO of Outrage, Pooji Regulapati. Did I say that correctly?
Regulapati.
Thank you for being with us today. Now, can you share with us the mission for Outrage?
Yeah, so the Outrage is a mission-driven apparel brand that serves as a vehicle for fundraising for progressive organizations like Planned Parenthood and ACLU, and also serves as a community space for activists.
Now, when you say community space for activists, can you expand on that?
We opened our first brick and mortar store in January of 2017 with the Women's March, and as people were coming through the door, we saw that there was this organic demand for space for people to organize and do things like poster making and hold panels and events like that. So we decided to make the back areas of our stores a free community space for anybody to use if they wanted to. And our plan, this is actually the most exciting and best part of our year in 2018, is to expand and grow this area and actually build a curriculum with our partners. So we have the Women's March that comes in on the first Monday of every month and hosts like a panel discussion about intersectionality and feminism. And then She Should Run, who's a bipartisan organization that helps young girls and women run for political office, will come in every second Tuesday of the month and do a boot camp on how to get started. So that is our goal this year, is to build that curriculum out and have it available for all of our communities.
Now, Outrage started as an online store, and as you mentioned, you have brick and mortar stores. Can you explain the transition, kind of going against the trend, because as we're seeing most retailers opening more online?
Right.
Explain.
So we actually started online because our initial intention was to be a celebratory brand for our first female president. We didn't expect the election to go the way that it did. We didn't expect the last year to go the way that it did. And we've always donated with every sale, but with the shift of the election, we decided to partner with the Women's March in January and open the brick and mortar store so that people saw a physical representation of what we stand for on the ground. And I think it's really important, especially in DC, because we're on the front lines of everything that's going on. We decided to keep the brick and mortar store in DC. It was originally a pop-up, but we decided to keep it because it was such an amazing reaction. And also people kept telling us that they needed to physically see these empowering messages while all of this disempowering stuff was going on within the political environment.
And that leads me now into the business aspect. You know, there's a lot of discussion, obviously, when you open something like Outrage, with a charity-driven base, but you still have to operate a business, and of course you're the CEO, which is responsible for running the business. How do you balance the sales and the revenue requirements with your philanthropic as well as your social statements?
It's honestly, I mean, it's easy for us because our goal has always been donate as much as possible and make as much of a difference as possible. I think that the celebrity backing and organizations backing us like the Women's March has helped because they've been able to kind of push us to a different level. Like, we're a startup, we've been around for 60 months, and so they've been able to kind of give us the exposure that we didn't think that we would ever get. So that's been really great, and in DC we've been able to kind of make a statement, and we've been very vocal in the city, so our brick and mortar stores have gotten a lot of attention. So we actually get a lot of tourists. We get a lot of people that come in that are like, oh, somebody told me that I have to come here. And I was like, who's this person like on the tourism board that's telling everybody to come to the store? But I love them and it's great. But yeah, so we get a lot of tourists. And then on the other end, our e-commerce platform has a really broad reach as well. So we have people ordering online locally, but also like all the way to Australia.
Now, how are you capturing the social environment through the collections? You know, you're talking about Sophia Bush and Rose McGowen. How do you do that in the collections?
So the Sophia Bush one The shirt is a uterus with boxing gloves that says, "Where do you think you came from?" And when launching it, she put out a video that said, "This is just for all of our lawmakers. Where do they think they came from?" And it was really about taking women's rights into the hands of men and having them decide what we want to do with our bodies. Whereas McGowen is a little bit different because, you know, her whole mission right now is to kind of come out and spread awareness about sexual assault, and she built Rose Army, and her whole thing is be a thorn, and that is to, you know, kind of address uncomfortable situations head on and, you know, expose people and not to be afraid to do so. And so she wanted to donate everything to the East Los Angeles Women's Center, who helps survivors of sexual assault, and the goal is to kind of expand the donations of that collection a little bit to a bunch of different organizations with the same mission.
So share with the viewers what your background is, and of course who you've collaborated with to start Outrage.
So my background is in data analytics. Originally I was an accountant in a previous life. I took those numbers to a different level, and Rebecca Lee Funk, who is our founder and CEO, she used to be my boss at a previous startup, and we ran the data analytics of the e-commerce platform of this business. She founded it in October of 2016 and spent several months trying to convince me to come on full time while I was volunteering for her for free. And eventually I came on full time, and we've kind of grown and expanded this brand together.
What has been the most surprising aspect of this new startup, Outrage?
I think the support. It's kind of amazing to see, and I saw it before I even came on full time, and it was kind of my deciding factor. When people were waiting for 4 hours in the rain and in the cold to get into the store before the Women's March. And instead of being grumpy about it, instead of being upset about it, women were making friends. They were exchanging numbers. Our neighbors in Adams Morgan brought out pizza and coffee and like treats for everybody. And it was amazing to not only see the support of our customers, but also our neighbors and the neighborhood as a whole. I think that kind of solidified everything for us, because we were really down after the election, you know, and we didn't know kind of what to do and what our next steps were going to be, and we were trying to figure that out. So I think that was really helpful in helping us keep moving and stay productive and proactive in this current environment.
How is working with Outrage changed you personally?
It's made me more outspoken as a feminist, as an activist, as a woman of color. And I think it's been really helpful for me to relay my message, and also, you know, stay in the social justice work and work towards something that I actually care about.
You know, one of the goals for Trending 50 is giving women a voice as it relates to defining success on their terms and not what society forces upon us to interpret success to be. Mm-hmm. How do you interpret success for yourself?
Success for me is really just happiness. I was raised in a way where the definition of success was directly related with getting married and having babies, and that's not really, you know, how I see it now. I think that for me, it's always been making a difference and leaving the world with the biggest impact as you possibly can.
Thanks so much, Pooji, for being with us today.
Thank you.
This is Renee Marie Smith. Thank you for watching FifTV, a Trending 50 web series. If you enjoyed the video, hit like and share.